let's read some more scary stories that were sent to us. I was maybe 6 or 7 when this happened. My dad bought a house in Florida, so we moved there from England. My dad is an atheist, and he would always say, if you see a ghost, look away and then back, and remember the science behind ghosts. He didn't believe in ghosts and believed there was a logical, psychological reason why someone would think that they saw something. So one night in the Florida house, I was sleeping in my sister's room downstairs. Her room was infamously cold, which was odd since it was Florida. I remember turning to the closet, and I saw a man similar looking to my dad, standing there smiling at me. I wasn't even thinking about my dad, but I remembered what he had said to me about seeing things. So I immediately turned around to my sister's back. Being so small, I curled up next to her. I then swung back around, and instead of the figure being gone, it got closer to me with a nasty smile, and its eyes were staring right at me. I did the same thing 3 more times, and it kept getting closer and closer to the point where it was literally right next to the bed. I immediately turned back towards my sister and refused to turn back around. We later found out that our home was built on Native American land. Maybe the spirit is mad at your dad for not believing in them. I'd have to move out though. I could not stay there. As a little girl, I used to sleep with my mother until I turned 10 years old. At this time, I had a teenage brother who just discovered horror movies, and of course I was the victim of his scaring bullshit. My dad slept in my room, and one day he had an idea that I should try to sleep in my own room where I had all my toys and other stuff. I was like, okay, I get him. He wants to sleep with his wife. And the fact that I had 10 years, I just needed to become an independent little woman. So I agreed to the idea. I went to bed, and my mom had changed the bedding for me just to make me feel better. I laid down and started to chase the dream, and of course, mine and my parents' bedroom doors were open, just in case I changed my mind in the middle of the night. It was easy peasy until one moment I decided to turn from the wall side of the bed to the door side, and that's when I noticed a very shiny yellow figure with short black hair, wearing a long white dress, and she's just walking through the little hallway that connected mine and my parents' rooms, and she was just peeking at me. I froze and remembered my mother would always tell me that nothing bad could ever happen in our house. However, I started thinking maybe my brother was just joking around with me. But then I remembered he was at his girlfriend's house, and that's exactly why my dad chose tonight for me to start sleeping by myself. I ran to my parents' room in a matter of seconds and started yelling at them to check the little hall, but there was no one there. I still don't know and can't explain what that was, but I remember it like it was yesterday. That's interesting. I've never heard of like a yellow spirit or ghost. I've heard of them being like black or white, like shadowy figures. But if you've seen a yellow or like a different colored spirit before, let us know in the comments, because I am curious, like what the heck was that?
This is someone's experience being possessed. And this one is yet another submission from South Africa. I am back with another spooky story, and you actually don't want to watch this one at night. Hello, my Haitian sister. I have a spooky story for you all the way from South Africa. This will be creepy, and I advise you to watch it at night. It hits different. So the person who submitted this story wants you to watch this late at night. Okay. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Bay. So this happened in 2022 when Bay was in 12th grade during finals week. So Bay and a few friends asked one of their teachers if they could have a study camp because they were accounting and business students. The teacher, for some reason, offered them her old house. Now, there were a mix of boys and girls. Now, everybody wasn't that close, but they all knew each other. So for the first few days of living together, everyone was cooperative and tolerant. They created a system: who cleans, wash dishes, who cooks. The boys did the more heavy-duty tasks, like fetching water for cooking and drinking, because water in the house wasn't drinkable. They also took turns showering, as there was only one bathroom. And there were 2 bedrooms facing each other. Boys took one room and the other girls took the other side. Nothing creepy happened at first, but one of the girls started to casually piss everybody off. Let's call her Zizi. Nobody liked Zizi from the beginning because she was dramatic, rude, and always tried to push people around. They tolerated her until they couldn't anymore. They called a teacher and they voted her out of the study group. She was sent home 3 days into the camp. Like, how insufferable could you be? So after Zeze left, there was finally some peace. They all focused on studying. Now, on the 5th night, just 2 days after Zeze left, the group started praying and one of the girls began acting weird. Her eyes would twitch and roll all the way back. She kept saying she felt hot whenever they prayed or worshiped. Her best friend claimed she gets like this because it's an ancestral gift. Yeah, right. They brushed it off and basically ended the prayer quickly because everybody was uncomfortable. But that wasn't the only strange thing. But one night, while they were praying, the more they prayed, the worse she reacted. This time she started convulsing, screaming in a language that nobody understood, just staring at them. And that's when everybody realized she was possessed. They prayed for over 2 hours in the boys' room. And the creepiest part, they saw shadows moving outside, and it only rained inside of the compound of their house. Nowhere else. When they stopped praying, the rain also stopped. In the morning, everything around the house was soaked, but the neighbors' houses in the street were completely dry. It made no sense. So let's call the girl who's possessed Tessa. So life went back to normal. During the day, everybody's doing what they have to do. During that day, they prayed again and things got worse. They held hands and the stronger they prayed, the more the demon lashed out. It started jumping from Tessa to the rest of them, but it was only among the girls. Now, when it entered Bae, the person who submitted the story, she felt this burning sensation, like she was on fire. Suddenly, she could see not with her eyes, but with her spirit. And no matter how much she blinked, she couldn't snap out of it. She says all she could see was Tessa in a cage in a place that looked like hell. Everything was burning and souls were being tortured. Every time she ran to her to open the cage to save her, she turned into a demon, she being Tessa. Whenever she tried to run towards the light or portal to escape, Tessa would transform again. At this point, Tessa is fighting to open her eyes. She could hear everybody praying louder and louder. When she finally snapped out of it, she was crying. Everyone was scared of her. And when she explained what she saw, everybody was just looking at each other and looking back at her, horrified. Another girl got possessed next. Let's call her Ginger. What she described scared everybody so badly that they had to kick her out the room as everybody continued praying, as it rained with thunder and lightning. So from the kitchen, Ginger calls out to everybody, claiming she saw a dark shadow and blue light enter the girl's bedroom. So when Tessa's friend finally walks in, something told her, check one of the girl's food parcels. And inside this unopened cereal box, she found brown coins. Everybody freaked out and called a nearby pastor. Luckily, the boys knew a man of God who lived close by, came and prayed for all of them and talked to Tessa while she was possessed. And the pastor said that this demon was put on Tessa by a family member to destroy her. And he warned them, do not pray with that girl, only for yourselves, because whatever was inside of her could destroy everybody. So Tessa leaves and everybody just tries to forget that night. Since none of them had exams the next day, they decided to unwind the evening. It was getting dark and everybody was doing a little smoke session, and most everybody that was there joined. They had Russian beers and 3 big rolls. And once everybody was smacked, strange things started happening again. They couldn't say it was hallucinations. Tessa was standing in the corner saying weird things and looking at them in a way that didn't feel human. For some reason, this is all that this person submitted. There's no part 2. This is all they submitted. Thank you guys so much for watching this spooky story. If you have a spooky story that you want me to tell, feel free to submit it to me right here on TikTok or on Instagram. If you want better, longer, and spookier stories, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I want to say thank you all my abducted humans for all the birthday wishes. You guys made me feel so special this weekend. From your favorite Haitian homegirl.
This true scary story made my blood run cold. This is exactly why consuming a bunch of scary stuff without protecting yourself can be a huge disaster. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to subscribe to my YT channel. The link is in my link tree, so all you have to do is click the link tree and then go to YT. It'll take you directly there. There, I tell the same stories I tell on here, different stories and longer versions and uncensored versions of stories I tell on here over there. So if you want to send me your true scary story and you want me to recount it on here, my email is in my bio. So today's true scary story was submitted to me by a girl named Daisy. Cute name, by the way. Absolutely love it. Daisy also said that I could tag her, so she will be in the description and she will be looking out for comments. Now, when Daisy was younger, she lived in a haunted house, and this house was incredibly haunted and she still has vivid memories of it. But the thing is, I think it's because her and her sister were obsessed with scary movies. They absolutely loved scary movies, scary stories. Her older sister, who was 2 years older than her, introduced her to all of this stuff. But her sister was much more involved in watching this scary stuff and just consuming things on the internet, just everything that had to do with anything scary, her sister absolutely loved. Well, Daisy started to experience some things that really freaked her out. While she was sleeping at night, she would be alone in bed. Her sister, she shared a room with her sister, so there was 2 twin beds in the room, and every single night she said that she would hear somebody walking on the carpet in her room, kind of dragging their feet, just walking around her bed over and over and over again. every single night. Now, because of this, she was absolutely terrified to sleep in her room, as I would be too. So she slept with her mom every single night. So on this night I'm about to tell you about, let me paint the scene. Her and her mom are getting ready for bed. They get in bed and they turn the lights off. The TV is on and there's a door that is cracked open that you can see like kind of into the hallway, when randomly her sister walks into the doorway and just stands there staring at her mom and sister like this. Just staring. There's absolutely no expression on her face whatsoever, and her eyes look so dark and cold, and this freaked Daisy.
I feel like glitches are happening more and more often, or at least people are talking about them more. My brother witnessed the weirdest thing a few days ago. He said that a few of his friends went over to him and his boyfriend's apartment. They were playing games, they were having some drinks, they were eating food, and just living their best lives. He had been on his phone because he was putting on music on their Bluetooth speaker, and then he smells a little something weird. He goes and checks on his puppy, and his puppy had an accident. So he goes, he cleans it, everything's fine, washes everything, washes his hands, comes back and finishes their game, and everything pretty much went back to normal. Again, he used his phone to put on music on the Bluetooth speaker. He also took his phone into the specific room where his puppy had the accident. He used the flashlight, cleaned it up. Again, everything was normal. They finished off their game, and a little bit after that, people were ready to go home because it was almost midnight and everyone is saying their goodbyes. He's gonna walk them downstairs and he's like, "Where's my phone?" He's looking around for it, tries to ping it with his watch, but his watch was dead. He tells his boyfriend, "Hey, can you call my phone?" He calls it, doesn't see anything because his ringtone has that flash that it turns on. Doesn't see the flash, doesn't hear the ringtone. Him, his friends, the boyfriend, everyone is looking for his phone and it is nowhere to be found. He decides to go outside and walk his friends out, and he's like, "Everything's fine. I'm sure it's gonna come up somewhere. Maybe it died. Who knows? It has to be inside because I was just using it." As they're walking down the stairs, they are standing by kind of like the balcony area, and he tells his friend, "Can you just call me one more time? Maybe my boyfriend can hear it inside." She calls it. Her car is visible from where they're standing, and they can see the flashlight flashing from his ringtone in her car. It stops. They kind of stop and look at her car like, and he tells his friend, "Can you call me again?" She does, and it's the same thing, flashing. They run downstairs, they go into the front seat of her car, and there is his phone. How? Obviously, I had a whole bunch of questions. I was like, "Were you ever in her car?" He said yes. So we went to the store earlier that day, but I was sitting in the back seat. I was nowhere near the front. I grabbed all my stuff. We went upstairs. I used my phone to connect the speaker to play some music. I also used my phone to use the flashlight to go clean up the dog. How did it end up in my friend's car? Nobody had left the apartment. Nobody had stepped foot outside. Nobody had gone to her car. So, how did the phone get into her car? Yeah, that's pretty weird. What do you guys think happened? Let me know in the comments, and keep sending me your spooky story times.
Can we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
They went to both.
Yeah.
Whew, y'all ready for a story? I got goosebumps. I'm about to tell this story. Me and my boyfriend might have been a missing couple tonight. Or possibly... yes. Pow, pow, pow. Couple. So, I get out of work and my man's like, "I want to take you somewhere, you know, the range. We're about to go to the range." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He's like, "Yeah, my mom will watch the kids. It's something we can do together, blah, blah." So we take the kids over his mom's and they stay there. It's like 30 minutes away from, the range is like 30 minutes away from his mom's. So we're going there. He called up a couple of his friends, like, "Y'all want to meet us out here, blah, blah." They couldn't make it. Why is the blinker on? 1 second. Sorry if my words are everywhere. I'm just like so shocked. I am so lost of words, really. I'm trying to put them together. Because it was like we was in a movie. No lie. Okay, so we make it. We make it to the spot. It's like in the middle of nowhere, you guys. We're driving down this dirt road. Very tight, squeezed dirt road. And at this point, it's very, very dark. And we come to a sign that says dead end. But our GPS says keep straight. We're to go to the dead end. I look at him and I'm like, I don't feel right about this. I do not feel right about this. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. What if somebody pulls up on us out here? What if, like, I'm just, you know, at this point, I'm just, like, talking shit. But at the same time, why am I saying this? It's something sending signs to me to say this, because I'm getting bad energy right now. My emotions are everywhere. So we keep straight down this dead end, you guys. Like I said, it's very, very dark. The only lights out there are headlights. And the headlights are starting to barely light up the street as we go in because it's like woods. We see this pickup truck parked to the side. No lights on at all. And I'm like, okay, now what the fuck? There's a pickup truck. Kid you not. He's like, okay, we're just gonna go out here. We're gonna let off, 1 or 2 shots, and we're gonna leave. I didn't want to come out here for nothing. Blah blah blah. So we keep going. I feel like this video is getting long. If you want a part 2, comment part 2, y'all. What the fuck? I'm gonna make part 2 anyways and just save it just in case y'all want to hear more about the story. I can't believe this just really happened to us, though. Like, this really just happened to us. And I just thank God that he sent all the signs to make us turn the fuck around. But we got down there, y'all. Let me know if y'all want part 2.
Let's read some more scary stories that were sent to us. June 2018, my son was 27 months old. We lived in a trailer next to a cemetery, and I always heard weird stuff, but nothing that was too terrifying. My husband worked the night shift, so I laid down my 3 kids and my baby slept in the same room as me. As I drifted off to sleep, I swear I saw his soul leave his body. It was like watching it rise up. We had this huge closet, and it was like his soul went into the closet. I got up and followed it, I don't know why, and suddenly the closet door closed and it was dark. And I heard a pow pow, and my chest got hot. I hit the ground. It felt like I had been shot. Somehow, I ended up back in my bed and could still physically feel the burning from a shot. I turned my light on in a panic and there was absolutely nothing. My son was still asleep in his bed. This trailer had something in it. Sometimes you could hear a baby crying, and I wasn't the only one who heard it. My whole family heard it as well. Bottles would often fly off the counter and hit the doors like someone threw them. I was so glad when we left that place. Burn it to the ground. When I was around 8 or 9, me and my mom lived in an apartment and we had an older neighbor. My mom and I went on a trip, and when we got back, we both had a weird feeling, so we asked the people working at the apartment if our neighbor had died, and they said yes, he passed away in the hospital. So later on, like 5 months later, spooky things started happening. My Alexa would start playing music on its own, my Xbox would turn on by itself, and paper towels would randomly be all over the place. So my mom and I decided to buy a Ouija board, and when we used it, it spelled out my neighbor's name. Shortly after that, we moved out. That's so sad that their neighbor passed away, and I do wonder if it was actually the neighbor talking through the Ouija board, because you never really know who you're talking to on those things. Thank you all so much for sending me your stories, and thank you to everybody who's been sending me your stories. I am so excited and so appreciative and grateful that I'm growing on all of my platforms right now. This is exactly what I want to do. And I love reading y'all's scary stories. I love doing my podcast. I love hearing y'all's feedback on my podcast and my videos. I am busy. Y'all are keeping me busy. I'm getting DMs on TikTok, Instagram. I'm getting emails, and I appreciate it so much. Okay, thank you. And episode 5 of my podcast will be out tonight at midnight, and it is a good one, if I do say so myself. So make sure to check that out.
Scary story time. Okay. So on the night before Thanksgiving, there was a young boy. His mother and his father got a divorce. And his father had to give his mother some money for the divorce. His mother took that money and she moved him to a new city and state to start a new life. Okay. As they moved to this new city and state, his mother purchases this house. And in the house, there was already furniture and all kinds of things left in the house. So the mother didn't have to purchase too much stuff. Okay. So in the young boy's room, there was a television set and a video game set. Okay. And his mother just purchased the rest of the stuff for his room. But every night, this little boy would watch TV on the television set and play the video game set. And every time, hold on 1 second, because I see something outside. Okay, so every time he would watch the television set and play the video game set, he would notice that he had bad dreams. And he would wake up. When he woke up, he could never remember the dreams that he had until one very night. This was around Christmas time. So Christmas night, he went to sleep very, very late. It had to be like early in the morning, okay? As he went to sleep, before he went to sleep, he played that video game set. He played that video game set. He watched that television set. Then he passed out and went to sleep early in the morning. As he went to sleep, this night was a different night. I don't know what it was about Christmas nights, but it's like he didn't wake up in his reality. He woke up in the video game set. And in the video game set, he was in a scary game. And it was so scary. He was so terrified. Like, everything that the video game did, he had to defeat the challenges of the video game in order to get out of the game. That's something like real life, though. But in real life, you never get it. Okay, so it was so scary. He was so terrified. He was fighting devils. He was fighting demons. He was killing all types of things. He was moving past levels, and he almost didn't make it out of the game because he could have died so many times in the game. And the crazy thing about it is if you die in the game, you don't make it out the game, so you're gone. Okay, so he finally ended up beating the game. He made it out. And the scary part about it is once he made it out, he was like in a different year from the year him and his mother moved into that house. He was like literally a grown man. He was so terrified. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know where to go. He started searching for his mother. He couldn't find his mother because he was so old. His mother had passed away. He just didn't know it. And that's part 1. I'm going to come back with part 2 of that scary story.
I got my snacks, so get yours, because you know what time it is. The story is actually from India. I need a mushra. I got my mushra. So, for the sake of this story, let's call this girl Beena. So, Beena is Indian, obviously, and her family went back to India a couple years ago, just to go back. Her family back home actually have a lot of money, and they're pretty known in the area that they live in because they, own the hill of the area. Actually, to fix that, they went back to India to celebrate their grandma's birthday. And while they were there, you know how you always have, a favorite cousin? So, Beena found her favorite cousin, and they used to, fool around all the time. So, in the Haveli, which means mansion house, basically a mansion. I hope I said that right. They were up until about like midnight. They slept together, so it was even more fun because they slept in the same room. And the room that they sleep in whenever they go back was known for having like lots of mirrors. They would often hear like stuff moving and rattling throughout the night. Her grandpa at the time coincidentally was in a wheelchair because he had got into an accident in that same room. They hadn't really cleaned up that room since the accident happened because nobody really used that room anyway, so it was just there. Nobody really cleaned it up. So on the second night, Bina and her favorite cousin, they decided that they were going to clean up because like they want to play in the room, but they don't want to step on glass or anything, right? So they had to go down like 2 to 3 flights of stairs to find a broom and a dustpan. And so they're looking for the dustpan. They can't find the dustpan anywhere. So they decided to go out to find the dustpan. For a second, they see it. They see the dustpan. It's like red, new and shiny. The moment they turned their head and then turned it back to where they saw the dustpan, it would just disappear. So they start getting spooked out. And after this happened, Bina's cousin says to her, "Yo, I feel like there's something beside me breathing." Bina's like, "What?" Cousin is like, "Yeah." And it's
Alright, so I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to ask, do you want to hear a scary story? And I'd be very curious to know if anyone has a similar story. So, when I was about 4 years old, my mom and my aunt dropped me and my cousin off at this couple's house. And they were supposed to babysit us so that they could go out. And they were going to come pick us up the next morning. So, we go to their house, and they have these 2 daughters, and me and my cousin we're taken to their room because it's nighttime, and they're going to go to sleep. And the one girl sleeps on one side of the room and the other one sleeps in the other. And they have these little twin beds. And one of the girls is like, "Oh, you want to come and lay down with me?" And then the other girl's like asking my cousin, "You want to come lay with me?" So we both go and lay down in these girls' beds. I wake up on the living room floor. I'm no longer in this little girl's bed. My cousin's nowhere to be found. And I'm laying on the floor on like a mat with a pillow, and this is where it gets really weird. There's like hundreds, if not thousands, of these kind of purple, pink, fuzzy looking things, and they're all over the floor, like crawling around.
What the fuck was that? Bro,
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
You think you're safe from ghosts and entities and they can't hurt you? Well, this story submission that I got tells a different story. This person was almost unalived more than once by an entity. Before I start the story, I just want to let you know that you can send me your true scary stories. The email is in my bio. It is kaisaspooky@gmail.com. And I will come on here and recount them for you. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel just in case TikTok gets... The link is in my bio. Easy to click. Now let's start the story. The girl who submitted this story, her name is Koi. She would like to go by Koi, but she did say that I could tag her in the comments, so if you have anything to say to her, then feel free to drop that in the comments. She will see all of them and she can probably answer your questions. Now let's get to the story. So for context, Koi lives in a 2-story house, and one night she was about 5 years old and she was on the couch watching TV with her parents. They were just relaxing, watching TV, when all of a sudden she looked over, and peering above the couch was a little creature with black eyes just staring at her. All she remembers is the room was so dark and she felt this overwhelming fear and she literally just passed out. Her parents were so worried about her that night they actually had her sleep in the room with them, and they had her sleep in the middle between both of them. So Koi's parents are just upstairs talking while she is in the middle of them asleep. The door is halfway cracked open and you can see into the dark hallway. When all of a sudden Koi shoots up from a deep sleep, points in the hallway and says, "Who is that?" Parents are kind of looking at each other like, what the hell is going on? When all of a sudden Koi just lays back down and goes to sleep. This is coming from her mother's perspective, but Koi does say that she remembers exactly what she saw. And what she saw was a little girl standing in the hallway with black hair over her face. She had a dirty dress on and she was soaking wet, and she was just staring at her with hair over her face like this. Koi said that after that, weird and sinister things started happening. Like that door that she saw that little girl stand in, it stopped closing. They literally could not shut that door to save their lives. So they had to keep it half open all of the time. Another thing that started happening is all of their pets started being unalived. Every time they would have a pet that was completely healthy, it would end up being unalived. Birds, hamsters, a rat. In fact, a rat that she had that she really liked was unalived in the strangest way. 1 hour, she went to go see the pet. It was completely fine. And then an hour later, she went over to feed the pet. The pet was unalived, flattened with gnats surrounding it, like it had been unalived for days, when she had just seen it an hour earlier and it was healthy. While on the subject of pets, her dogs would absolutely not go into her parents' room. The one with the door cracked when she saw that little girl, they would not go in there. And if they ever went in there, they had to be forced to go in there. And as soon as they could, they would dart out of the room. Now it gets absolutely terrifying. One day she was playing on the trampoline with one of her friends. This was about 6 months after the first night that she had seen the little girl in the doorway. Well, she's playing on the trampoline and all of a sudden, out of the corner of her eye, she sees a little girl running towards the trampoline. This terrified her so much that she actually started screaming her head off and she ran towards her parents. After she gets to where her parents are,